what can be
Sorry, that was me. Sorry.
so
Go ahead, Scout. Sorry.
yeah. Now that we all agreed.
Now we all agree that we're recording it.
But just to have a place to share things. I mean, you know, some people have that in their office, their space, whatever, but others of us are just kind of working, you know, in our four walls. And personally, I would love to have a place to share stuff. And so with that, I'm gonna dig right in with the newest thing that I've been working on, and I've just been having a great time with it. Which I don't know if, hopefully you can see this. So this is a paintbrush. This is the lock line gift that you get at conferences, right? And can everybody see this okay? And then I've just put it on PVC. And then this morning I was like, well, how am I going to hold this? So I put one of my favorite 5-inch rubber bands. And when I put my hand through with the rubber band and then stick my fingers in the bottom, like I have no grip needed to hold this. And it can be angled at any position. It's super light because it's PVC, you know, so any length. I think about folks that are in like day programs, and the aide like says, what color paint do you want? And they dip the paint, and then like, where do you want this paint? And the aide or the support person kind of does everything. And like with this, if with minor muscle movement, somebody could paint on canvas by themselves. Anyway, so that's mine. So I would now I don't have 30 minutes of stuff at all. So I would love if somebody share whether it's an idea or a material. So anybody got something? Christina, you look so ready for something.
Carrie.
I do.
Carrie, yeah. I just sent Carrie a message and said, Carrie, he needs your easy hold.
I know. So Scout, is your name Scout?
Yes.
Scout. Okay, Scout. So you know, I like the your on your invention. The kind of the part that moves is a great idea. I've only seen that. I have seen that at the Abilities Expo with, what was it? There was something that was articulated like that, but I don't think it was for a paintbrush. So between Christina, between the adaptive gals and myself, we have a lot of this covered, your invention. So I make Easy Hold, and it's a silicone band that goes onto anything. And it comes in sizes from this to that, as small as this to this size. So it could slip onto your articulated holder quite easily. And then at the end of your holder, then one of the functional hands would do very well.
Right.
That's Cindy and Christina's invention. And I don't know how much you know about that, but it actually will hold any size object from a tiny little paintbrush to as large as a bottle or, you know, an eating, drinking implement. And it has been an interesting challenge to make the product like you say, and then to have brainstorming and bouncing ideas off of people. And I like the articulated part of your product. I could see how that would be really helpful to work from a wheelchair or a standing position, or you know, in a position that might be awkward. I do like that part of the holder.
Yeah, when I was looking at like, how am I going to hold this? The product that you have came to mind, but I don't have one, you know. And for me, I'm always like, okay, if I was doing this just on the fly, what could I use? And you know, because when I started doing stuff, I had in my office, because we can shop from Staples. Yeah, I got a whole case of these 5-inch rubber bands. So I've used them for everything.
Yeah. Are they made of latex, or what are they made of?
They're sterling rubber bands. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Cool.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so, having a few of those sizes of items would be, what do you call them?
Easy holds.
Easy holds.
Yeah.
Right, be fantastic. You know,
Hey Scout, this is Vince from CID. I was thinking too, because of the lock thing, I put it in the notes too. You could wrap stuff with electrical tape.
Yep.
And that'll help keep it from moving, or worst case scenario, duct tape. I used to use it on my my sockets that flip around to keep them straight when I was working on cars.
So when you want to have something stay in position as opposed to flexing it.
Yeah, it'll make it less flexible. So
Right.
it'll kind of hold it in position. So once you kind of get it set, you can wrap it up and then
Right.
it should hold it.
It's kind of a nice thing, Vince, to think about if you're using the flexibility part of it to find the right spot. And then when you feel like you have it locked down, start wrapping it up. And then it still gives you that chance to unwrap it if it doesn't quite work, but it gives you that chance. I love the lock line or anything that gives us that little bit of flexibility, even if it's like coat hangers or thin wire bar, metal bar, just to kind of plan things and try them out and get the right spot and then work to lock them down. That's cool.
What I thought was fantastic about this lock line is I just shoved it in that 1/2-inch PVC and it fit.
That's
I've got a few of those. Yeah, Christina.
Christina, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say the blue articulating part or the flexible part on that looks very similar. We were at the Abilities Expo a couple weekends ago, and there's a product called the Giraffe Bottle. I put it in the
That's it,
comment
yeah.
section, and it actually it's the flexible part is the straw, and then the tumbler attaches to a person's wheelchair. And I'm telling you what, that articulating part, I mean, you could make like a crazy straw out of it. It is so flexible, but it looks very similar to that. So the Giraffe Bottle would be a good place to look for some of that, more of that flexible tubing like that.
And you put it in the chat?
I did, yeah. The Giraffe Bottle, yeah. And they make other things like that. There are other parts that are, they actually articulate like that. And then you could put it where you need it and then lock it down, things to hold like cell phones and tablets and heavier items like that. So that company also makes other products too.
But it's different than Lockline?
Yeah.
Cool. I've been looking for something other than Lockline.
I believe it is, Scout. We got some, I'll put it in, we got some literature from it. I'll put it in the chat, the other products that they make, okay?
That would be awesome.
Okay.
Scott, what kind of research did you do when you were coming up with your idea? Do you have a provisional on it, or what kind of IP do you have on your ideas?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, Scott.
You're talking to me.
I don't even know what you're saying.
Oh, okay. So when you come up with your creative ideas, you don't go immediately and draw a picture of them and then get a provisional patent on it for $150?
Absolutely not.
No, why not?
Because I don't care. I want anybody who's looking at this to just go do it themselves. I don't want another job. I just want people to have access.
Got it. Okay. No, I thought that your idea, you wanted to actually create something that you could disperse to people.
No, I want to show, hey, this is a way that you can quickly and easily do this yourself. You got a student and you need, this, you got a person, I don't care, in a nursing home, and they want to be able to do something more. Throw this 20-cent thing together and go. Yeah, I've got so little interest in getting a patent for anything. That seems like work.
It's work. It's work.
Fun. Yeah.
Are there any
So
like
who
cheaper
else-
versions of Lockline, or is it Lockline has the corner on the market? Because I in those also with those Giraffe bottles, they got an anti-spill back, so after you drink it, it won't dribble all over you. Because I've been having a problem with using crazy straws for people's wheelchairs and then they go to drink and then bleh, spills all over them after. And that's what I think the Giraffe Bottle is the only solution I found so far that has that valve in it.
The Giraffe Bottle is Lockline. It is a modular hose.
Yeah.
Oh,
But in it, I think it has a valve in it, so it won't
Yeah.
spill back on you too, which is kind of neat. But I was wondering if there's any cheaper version of Lockline that you might be able to get, because it is a pretty expensive item. And then, we're a nonprofit, so we're always trying to do down and dirty on stuff.
I haven't seen anything other than Lockline. So it's a little sad that the Giraffe Bottle is Lockline, just because I thought maybe there was something else out there. So
Wonder
maybe
if you
they
walk
have a
through-
super-
I wonder if you walk through Toys R Us, or are there even any Toys R Us left? Walk through Toys R Us, and if there's any kind of a creative element there that you could use. Because I
Well-
bet they do make something else. I'm looking now.
Vince, I would check the industrial supply world, because Lockline was originally designed for bringing cooling oil
Mhm.
on cutting machines. So it came from the industrial world. So I would try like Thomas Register or something like that. See if there's any companies that make something like it.
It's a good idea.
Great.
I was just on the Granger website looking there to see if there's
Granger,
something similar.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something called Scuba Board. Scuba? Coolant, a generic coolant hose versus Lockline brand, Scuba Board.
Yeah, because we won't care about leaks with a lot of the stuff we're
Yeah,
using
right,
Lockline
exactly.
for. So
Yeah.
unless we're using it for a bottle for somebody to drink out of, then
Mhm.
yeah.
Right, but for positioning,
It seems like there's something that goes in your mouth, and then a scuba flexible video light arm. There is also interesting. Yeah, that's interesting, because you could probably find something for less money, I suppose.
The other way you could go is just use regular flexible straw, and then you have something external to it that's holding it in place.
Mm.
Oh, like green wire or something that they make the
Yeah.
what's it called out of, then you can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Or-
if your support was rigid and your straws is, because you'd have to, with straws, they'd have to be disposable. You'd have to be able to get them out, and with Lockline, it's so tough, you could actually put it in the dishwasher or wash it somehow, I think, for a straw.
Mock up.
What you got,
Oh,
Kip?
Kip's got something.
Kip, is that your Lockline? You have to unmute. Tell us something. What you got?
And this is a 3D printed phone case with a Lockline attachment where we can actually snap it on.
Have you found anything other than Lockline though, Kip?
No,
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just online as we were talking, and I went down the Lockline alternative rabbit hole, and it didn't lead many places. So
I think they might still have the patent on it.
Mhm.
yeah, I
So
wonder
the-
if that's it.
There may not be any cheaper versions yet.
Maybe I'll write them a love letter and see if they could give me a demo kit or something.
There it is. Love letters do it every time. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I got a lot of my Amazon stuff. I wrote a big love letter about, why we can use it. We could be a demo
Yeah.
center.
Yeah, exactly. We will demonstrate how great your stuff is. Christina, go ahead.
I just want to put this out there. So Cindy and I, Cindy's created a product, but our main businesses is we have an adaptive equipment and caregiving corner. And what we do is we do product reviews of adaptive equipment that people have made. So if anybody's got something out there that they would like us to kind of raise the awareness of our viewers, on YouTube, we have, we're getting ready to roll over 4,800 subscribers. So we have 1.4 million views on our YouTube channel. We've got followers on all the social media. So if there's something that you're wanting us to highlight, we'd be happy to do it. We've done Carrie's Easy Hold. We've done Kathleen's mobility towel. And I'm going to go ahead and put my email address. If there's something that you got, if anybody wants to contact us, we'll take a look at it. So I'm a speech therapist. Cindy's a physical therapist. And we contract with an occupational therapist too, so that we can kind of get all of the therapy disciplines covered. So That's
Awesome.
all I
Can
need.
you put the link to the channel in the chat also,
I
Christina?
sure will. I sure
Awesome.
will.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Great.
Yeah, that would be great.
Hey, there's something interesting called Hassay Savage, Hassay Savage, flexible coolant pipe,
Mm.
Hassay. It looks really kind of interesting.
Looks just like it.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's got
Gosh.
4.5 stars.
Oh, I only take 5-star.
From
Yeah,
Sun,
forget it then. Never mind.
Suncoast Precision Tools.
Is that on Amazon?
It's on Amazon, and then it takes you to a Joy Wayus thread adjustable magnetic base. So then it goes to that thing.
Oh,
I'll say that might be a good place to start,
And the rabbit hole is complete.
isn't it?
There it
Yeah,
is.
and then underneath, oh yeah, it takes you to Toporose and then DZS. Oh boy, look at that. They got ripped off bad. We all do.
So is anybody making stuff with other stuff?
Kathleen is.
I am. I've made a towel, adapted a towel for my mom who had difficulty bending over to dry her legs, feet, and reaching her back. And it's a lightly weighted bath towel with weights in the corner of each towel, and hard to see here, and handles across the midpoint of the towel, so that if you can either grip it, or if you don't have use or can't grip, you can just slide your wrists through and maneuver the towel that way. But the weights in the bottom corners of the towel allow the towel to just drape over the leg so that it stays very tight to the skin, in a simple pull-up motion, just dries the skin right away, and the gravity with the weights helps pull the towel back down. And the same thing, if you've got use of one arm for your back, you just hold it by the center strap, drapes over your back.
Hi, Cindy here, physical
Up and
therapist,
down.
and co-founder of
Sorry. Was that me?
Yeah.
Well, that was me.
Yeah, so it's a regular size towel, lightly weighted with 6 ounces of weight, 3 ounces in each corner. And yeah, it worked beautifully for her.
What is inside of it, Kathleen?
The
it's
weights are made of poly pellets, so they're washer and dryer safe. You just throw them in, everything can be washed with everything else, all your other towels and blankets and sheets and all that.
Is it 100% cotton, or what's it made of?
Yeah, it is 100% cotton. Yep.
Okay.
And we've tried a number of different weights of towels. I learned so much about GSM weight of towels, and I never knew there were so many different variations of towel, but this one seems, I've had a number of people test it, and this one seemed to dry the best. The absorbency worked best on this towel.
Where did you get to make it? Who's the manufacturer?
I have it manufactured in China right now. Obviously would love to have it manufactured in the US at some point when we get there, but right now.
You know, what's really interesting is that, you know, you guys are manufacturing your products. There is the International Trade Commission who will help you get your product into other countries. And they only require that your product be 51% made in the US. And so when you figure out all of the other components of having a business, you know, your product is US made for under the, you can't advertise it as US made, but under the International Trade Commission, it is. So, you know, I know people they're shy about saying, oh, I make it in China, but the reality is all of your employees are here, save for one person on a sewing machine there, you know, doing your marketing and your branding, and then working with your clients in occupational therapy and all of that.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Congratulations on your towel. It's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love the easy grips. Can't tell you how many OTs I've been able to share that with, and they go crazy over it. So
that's great. Great.
Kathleen,
Yes.
have you ever contacted Ableware or Matic about potential manufacturing?
I contacted Matic. It was a while ago, but they have not. They have a Inventor's Corner, that you can submit things and didn't get a response.
Oh, it's too bad because I used to work for them and I know that they do a lot of sewing, or at least they
Yeah.
used to. So that
Ah.
might be a potential
I'm,
manufacturer.
yeah, I can, I'm not too proud to reach out again.
And you could use my name. I used to be the product manager there. I don't know if
Oh,
anyone still remembers me there, but anyway, or if you want to send me an email.
that'd be great. Do you mind sharing your email in the chat?
No.
Thank you.
Kathleen, I got to add on that too. You, have you considered doing a chamois, like doing like a
For a
weighted,
car?
no, like for a
Oh.
person, like a big weighted chamois. Because I used to swim on the swim team,
Uh-huh.
and we never use towels. We use chamois the whole time, and they absorb so much so quick. So I was thinking something that might be able to hold up small, portable,
Yeah.
hopefully can be ringed out, and then weighted tabs at
Used
the
again.
ends.
Yeah, I had not thought about that, but thank you.
And it could also work as a cooling wrap too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A weighted cooling wrap. Yeah,
Good
that's an
idea.
interesting idea.
When
I feel
Scout
like
and
I
were-
had a,
Oh, go
I
ahead.
feel like
Beth,
I
sorry.
had a, I'm sorry, am I talking
Go
over
ahead.
you, Mike?
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I feel like I had a Scout Mary Therese Wilkomen moment at the beach this week. Like, you know, using what you have that's right there, that's just available. So I was lying on my stomach on the beach and needed my Kindle propped at just the right angle because to be able to read it and not strain my neck and all of that. And I have some carpal tunnel, so I can't, like, it's hard for me to hold it and everything without, if I hold it in one place, my hands go numb. And so I was just positioning, like, with I had a towel there, but I was just positioning the sand because that was what was available to me at the moment, right? Sand and a towel. And I was able to position, like, it just so at the right angle so that I could read and not have to hold it and have it, you know, easy to swipe and everything. So it was just, I was thinking, and I was like, I'm like, gosh, do people like ever use like just like bags of sand, you know, to be able to have something that, because it could be adjusted and very easily, but it wasn't something that was gonna, it still had stability, right? And it was heavy enough and it had some stability and everything. So I felt like I had my Scout Mary Therese. I'm not a creative person. I'm not really much of a maker, but I had my Scout Mary Therese Wilkomen moment.
I thought this story was leading to you stealing some beach toys from a kid. I really thought that's where we were going, and I was really here for it, and then it didn't happen.
I wasn't going to steal anything from a kid on the beach.
I thought that was where we were going, and I was like, this is great. But you know, that same thing, I'm thinking about those pellets that Kathleen's talking about that she sewed into her towel, bags of those pellets or some kind of, you know what I mean? That would give you that ability to
like
customize.
a flexible medium that can just be easily like moved and adjusted to.
Well, they do make these little bean bags you can stick a cell phone into.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like forms around your device.
You know, it's interesting, Beth, because the weights in the bottom of the towel were very intentional too, because I wanted them to be pliable and to be able to move around, because my mom couldn't dry between her toes, and to be able to put her feet on the toe on the weights and just rub her feet over, they'd fit in between the toes to dry the toes.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a good idea. Kip, you were going to say something?
For a prop, something you want to, you know, put a tablet or something like that, or a phone on, you can check Amazon or different shooting supplies. They make something just called a shooting bag, and some of them come in different shapes. There'll be V shapes. Competitive rifle people use them, and they've typically got sand in them, and you can prop monitors and tablets and things like that on them, and they're pretty cheap.
So like I didn't have to bring home the Ziploc bags of sand with me.
You do whatever you want, Beth. I mean, it's, you know, it's.
I mean, it was a public beach, right?
I think you can buy them where you have to add the sand. So you could just take it to the beach and fill it up the next time you're out there.
Just empty your clothes when you get home.
Yeah, a little bit of a vacation stays with you all the time. That's kind of
Good
nice.
challenge.
Yeah.
Have your Long Beach holder and
Yeah.
your, South Carolina holder. Or
That's
Exactly.
right, exactly.
Yeah. And as Scout and I were talking before you guys all got on, we had this conversation, this quick conversation about, we don't really have a plan for this. And that's okay. I think not having a plan is great. I actually thrive when we don't have a plan. I think it's fun. But I'm wondering, are there certain things since you all came, now you get to be part of the group that makes the decision. Couple of questions. Are there certain things you would like to see this become? Our thought was we would spend some time talking about ideas that people had and the latest things they had created. We could have a moment where we take questions from the group, like you have a situation that you can't figure out. And so we could all brainstorm a little. And then any resources you want to share. So kind of be 3 big areas. I don't know if there's other things you'd like to see of this. Shannon, I saw you put your hand up.
Yeah, I have a challenge moving from the beach to the lake. I have a young girl with a trimmer trying to get help putting a worm on a fish hook.
Love it. Okay,
So
there's your
anybody have
challenge.
any ideas for that? She wants to fish, and but her trimmer is such that not having her mom do all of her worming for her, putting the worm on the hook. So how can I get a worm on a fish hook with the young lady who has a trimmer who wants to fish independently?
Is she ambulatory?
Yeah.
Just so trimmers are only thing. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. I saw this in a catalog and I'd never seen it before, which kind of, I was a little surprised. And so I talked to an OT and she said, oh, it helps a lot with trimmers. So it was $34. I'm gonna hold it up in a second. It was $34 in Patterson Medical or something. And I was like, no way am I paying $34 for that. So I made it myself. I bought 4 little suction cups on Amazon for $13 and then took Instamorph and made a little handle. So, you hold on to this and it's, suction it on. So she'd have to have a flat surface, but it's supposed to reduce tremor. Now, I don't know if it'll reduce tremor for her or if it will be enough to hook a worm, but supposedly if you hold one hand, and so she'd have to have something holding a piece because she wouldn't have 2 hands to hold, but it's supposed to reduce a tremor. Now, maybe not for fishing, but maybe for something else.
Yeah.
Super cheap.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
I'm trying to brainstorm because I want her to be able to hook the worm and not her finger with her trimmer. And so when you're
Ken.
I'd like
Yeah, Ken.
to return to the requirements a bit. Does it have to be a worm? Because the worms are moving as well. So there are a lot of different baits you can use. Power bait is probably the most popular, but at least the power bait's not moving. And then you have lots of options for delivering the power bait to the hook.
Yeah,
That's a really good point.
she can do the power bait because you can put that down.
Mhm.
But she wants to fish with the worms because that's what are biting at the lake. So so the
Right.
power button.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So,
Is the
so-
problem-
Something
How
like
about how about a hook with a alligator clip on it?
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, so instead of a hook, a clip, yeah.
So what I'm thinking is kind of something that's like a book that's 3D printed.
Mhm.
It'll have a hinge on one side. It will have a relief in the middle where you can slip the worm and close the book on the worm. And then at the end, it has a kind of a taper
Right.
where you can feed the hook through. And it would also have a relief cut where you put the worm in, and then at the end you can put the hook through the worm and then open it up and pull the whole thing out.
Yeah, I was thinking the same way, Kip, like almost like something like a base with a slot cut in it that the worm could set in,
Mhm.
and maybe even rest her hand over the worm and the whole block so that it's holding the worm in, and then somehow figure out the hook part too. Yeah, which would almost like a little
Actually,
channel to work
Yeah.
it through.
Even just a flexible cardboard, you could drop the worm in because I don't. They're dying anyways. and get the hook in. That's actually a really good idea. Yeah.
It would be funner if we 3D printed the item to make it look like a medieval like torture implement.
I agree
that would be good.
100%. I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
strictly from looks of how this looks at the lake, yeah, that would be much better, actually.
Yeah.
What if you had something that actually held the hook in place, and then she would be able to, maybe with two hands, slide the, I mean, if the hook was held steady by something, she could actually take the worm and pierce the
Yeah.
worm with the hook that's being held in place, instead of having to hold a wiggly worm and trimmers with the.
I hear a design competition in here.
Yeah.
Would something like those clips with the arms for soldering, and something that holds
Yeah, right.
the
I
wire
think
on
that's
one side, so something holds the hook, and then
Yeah.
you can just
Yeah.
yeah.
How
Put the
about a
worm on.
rubber band? If it was a tiny rubber band that she could hook her thumb through, and then get the worm into the little rubber band on the hook or something, or maybe squish a piece of what is that cheese that people use? Cheese is Velveeta. A worm hook the Velveeta. Is that possible?
could she find some suicidal worms?
Who really are just looking to end it all. I mean, there you go. I think it's, yeah, it is interesting. I'm thinking about the idea, the hook and the clip that we're talking about. And could you connect the clip, the alligator clip, to the fishing line right above the hook and just clip the worm into the alligator clip, not even mess with the hook, throw it in. When the fish bites the whole apparatus, the hook is going to go in the fish too, even without the worm on.
If you're dealing with sunfish, they're very sensitive, and so the heavier it is, the less likely it is to. So it needs to be, the hook is very lightweight with a very lightweight weight. So you can't have all that extra weight. But the catfish might work for, because they'll eat anything.
Okay, so we need a dopey fish is what we need.
Yeah, the catfish
Yeah,
are
okay.
pretty, they'll eat anything. So that might work for a catfish. But when you're dealing with like the sunfish around the dock, it needs to be, she can't have all that extra weight or you're not going to catch anything.
Huh.
A tiny mesh bag, tiny mesh bag.
I mean, if you really want, you just take one of those nets and just throw the whole thing like they do in the ocean, and you pull all the sunfish in. But
You're raising your percentages of catching something. So again, I
Yeah.
think that also sounds really good.
Check
Yeah.
check your local laws, because that's illegal in some states.
yeah, it is illegal in the
Laws.
lake, but you can do it at midnight and nobody will see you.
I really like where this is going, by the way. I think this is good. This seems like a good time to remind you all that I am recording this, so I just wanted to throw that in.
I was thinking of maybe like
For the discovery of the trial.
maybe like a slot where you could pull the string, and then it'll kind of like wedge in the hook and everything, and then you got
Yeah.
a flat base with the hook kind of curved
Yeah.
up toward you. You probably make it with Insta shape. So what you'll do is you'll get the string, slide it through, and just pull it, and then the hook will be there and kind of stop in that one spot up, and then you can try feeding the fish in. I mean, the worm in that way.
Worm in.
You know, like you have
That
a
is
hook
very
facing
much
this way.
like, that's very much like Cynthia and Christina's functional hand. It actually has a big hole, you put the object in, and then it sucks it in. Maybe that is the thing, like a larger wire, you put the worm in, pull the wire closed and tight on.
Like it'll be in and then kind of pull it in, and then you got a space, and then you just, move the plastic thing out, and then you got.
No, if you go. Yeah, it is interesting, Shannon, because the idea is what in a sense would be easier for her to hold on to? Is it the worm or the line with the hook?
The problem is when she can hold the hook, but the trimmer, she's going to claw her finger when she's trying to put it together with
So
the
maybe I
worm.
should rephrase and say, what's the safer thing for her to hold? And maybe the safer thing is the worm.
But I'm thinking if with the book idea with the worm, she then the trimmer's not going to get her finger, and so that actually might work.
Right. If
Because
it's in a channel and
Correct.
there's just
And
a
it's
notch
not-
through it where the
If
hook
she
goes.
misses, she hits the cardboard and she doesn't
Right.
hit her finger.
We have a diagram there, David.
Yeah, I think
Good, I
if you
love
put
it.
the hook into like a like a EVA foam, kind of that thick foam, so it's all nice and squishy. You put the hook in first upside down and then put your worm into this slot, and you could maybe keep the worm stable with these two little things which might hold it down, and then pull the hook through the worm.
Yeah.
There it is. Nice, David. That's it. Love it.
Even double up as the worm holder, like a
Yeah.
worm container.
Practice on some
This
gummy
is
worms.
built into the lid of the worm container. What are we doing? Why are we not all doing this right now? Why are we not all?
Let's get busy.
Yeah.
Efficient.
I knew this would happen with a session like this. I would go off and we'd be finished and I'd do no work the rest of the day except think about this now. This will be the only thing I think about all day. I'll be making it out of index cards on my desk. Like, all right, if I was to cut this and, oh, this is great. Did that give you a direction, Shannon? Somewhere to go?
Oh, no. I've got definitely some thoughts now.
Okay.
Because I want to increase, she's 20 years old and I'm trying to increase her independence. So I think that's definitely direction.
Yeah, that's awesome. Excellent. All right, everybody. Well, we thought we would do a half hour, so we went 35 minutes. That's okay. Would you like to do this again? Please say yes, because I want to do this again.
Yes.
Good. Me too. Scout and I were talking about this, and we were thinking about maybe making this a somewhat recurring thing. And we were talking about, you know, is it once every other month? Is it something like that where we just check in with each other? And so, you know, I'll say that to the group. Or does that seem like a decent amount of time? Like every other month? Like if we met again in September? Do people want to meet once a month and have this conversation? Like, what do you guys think?
If it's only 30 minutes,
Yeah.
I would go monthly so it's consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And for our next agenda, Shannon will be showing us the hooking of the worm fixture that she's going to be making. So I'm
No,
going
we
to
all
write that
have
down on
to
my
come
list.
back. We all have to come
I'll have
back
to show our own.
Their
Yeah.
prototype.
We all make one. All right. That's your goal. That's your job for next time. Everybody makes a worm hooking thing.
If there's a viable design that's 3D printed, and it doesn't appear that it's going to make someone a couple $1 million,
Yeah.
don't forget to upload it to Thingiverse.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Good
That
point.
way everybody can use it.
Excellent. Yeah. I think that's a great way to put that. Yeah. Cause I would think any of these ideas would come up. I'm on the scout mentality of this. I'd like to just get this out there so people could use it for something else. Because if there's one person who wants to hook a worm, Shannon, there's probably 100 people who want to hook a worm somehow. And this could work for them.
Good point.
Yeah.
And makers making change as well. They have a really nice little library of some of their 3D printed designs or laser cut designs.
Yeah, and I did some look. I just couldn't find any. I kept looking, and I couldn't find anything for getting the worm on the hook. And somebody has to have had that problem before.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think you could market for kids too, because I remember my dad having to lose out on fishing when he brought 5 kids fishing because he was busy putting all of our worms on.
That's right. He was the human hooking machine of the
Yeah.
worms. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, what a great idea that this, you know, for kids, what a great way to start.
Yeah.
It might be easier to just train the worms to hop on the hook.
No.
No? Okay.
I got a quick one on, well, I'm seeing the consumer today and I've been having failures on, sorry, I hate to hijack, but I've been having problems with people with styluses. I got a consumer who was a fresh quadriplegic, and we went through and got one of the hand typing sticks. And then I mounted a stylus onto the end, and I had to go through 3 different styluses before I could get it even to tap the iPad and make connection right. But I'm still having issues. Does anybody have any ideas?
Have you seen RJ Cooper's adapted stylus?
No.
RJ Cooper has a nice hand strap with it's like a T, but it's all, it's all connected. So you make the capacitance connection between your hand and the screen.
And Ken has some.
And Vincent, I'll put a link to something I came up with.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Because I keep going and then I'm like going and using it. It's not working. And I had to make like 3 of them before I got the right type of stylus tip that would work. And then I show up to the consumers like where she is and I go, look, it works now. And of course, what happens when you're the assistive technology person? never works whenever you go to demo it.
If it's
You
working,
seen the fun hand, the functional hand? Do you use the functional hand?
No, I'm gonna look that
Oh,
up
okay,
too.
Christina, show your product.
Hang on one second, let me grab it.
Yeah, it's functional hand.
It's
Yeah.
it's a great product.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
Gary, it's not our product, it's actually Celine and Linda's product, but we have done a
I'm sorry.
video on it.
Yes.
So this is the functional hand. It's got just an elastic strap or elastic cord right here, and you can make this cord smaller depending on what it is you're wanting to put in there. So you put in like a pin into the V, pull it down, and then you can lock it in place right there. And then there you've got, if you're, depending on where your weakness is, with writing, this pairs really nicely with Carrie's easy hold. If you have a weak grip strength too, you can put the easy hold on here, and then you've got, it'll just hang. It's a universal cuff is what it is, but this pairs really nicely with that. You could put, especially for kids, you could put little Play-Doh bottles in there, and they can increase their functional independence, taking off the lids of things. And
you have a video on your adaptive equipment corner.
Our adaptive equipment corner, but a stylus would work great in here, depending on their range of motion with their wrist and stuff. It could just be something that they could just dab at also. That's the functional hand. I put their website in the chat box too.
I'm copying it all right now. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, Ken, that link that Ken put in there is really great. Check that out too. That's really cool. Thank you, Ken. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This is a good reminder to make sure you save a copy of the chat before you leave. That's got all those cool links in it. Go to the 3 dots and save a copy to your computer. Look, now everybody's doing that real quietly, which is awesome. Perfect. Good. That was why I said it. I didn't want you to forget. I'll have it anyway, but.
All right, so it looks like.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to say that our first meeting was a success of this kind of maker roundtable. And I think this is a good kind of model going forward. Sharing some new things, asking questions of the group to brainstorm, and then any resources we have to share. I'll talk with Scout. We'll find a couple dates that work for everybody, for the two of us to schedule this up, and we'll throw it out there to the group. We'll probably stick with this same time, which is 12 Eastern. So hopefully that works for everybody. I see Vince, you're in California, so it's first thing in the morning. That's okay.
Yeah, 9 in the morning.
Yeah, right.
But it's worth it. AT's worth it.
That's the right answer, my friend.
And your
Good job.
answers
Right.
totally saved me, because now when I show up, I'm gonna be like, I have to make something else. And I also found this. So
Exactly. And then you can say all these cool other things you're going to try. So that's perfect. All right. So we'll stick with this time, and we will. So look for something in August. Then we'll try to get something towards the middle of August. We'll try once a month, and we'll see if we can keep this going. This momentum of the group having a conversation.
Mike, can we the next time, can we bring our products back, since we didn't get a chance to show our product? Okay,
sure.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. I think that's good. I think we can find this balance of people who have products who want to share them, and then people who have issues that want to solve them. And I think we can find a happy balance there somewhere. In my mind, I envision this as a practitioner helping practitioner kind of session. But I recognize people have products that they want to show too. So we'll find some balance as we move through. I think there's plenty of ways to do that, if that makes sense for the group. All right.
Good.
All right. Shannon asked privately, and I'm going to say it anyway out loud, Shannon, because it's relevant. We do the Monday AT town halls, but we had put those off for the summer. We'll start that again, probably the last week of August, somewhere around there. We do the AT town hall, which is this kind of very similar setup. Which happens on Mondays at noon, which tends to focus on all aspects of AT in education. So for AT people who work in schools, we have these conversations. So similar to what we did today, but just a kind of a little different slant. So we're going to add this one to the slate of topics we do. So we'll do this one once a month.
Lots of
Thank you,
fun.
Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. This was fun. I'm glad everybody showed up, and have a good rest of the day and a good rest of the week. And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye-bye.
See you, everybody.